Okay, now we begin with solving a system of linear first order differential equations, ordinary differential equations. In physical systems, there may arise a case where a linear equation is formed just not based on a single variable but some another system parameter as well. So suppose we take up a first order homogeneous differential equation with constant coefficients that has a variable parameter x1, and say it is dependent on x1 as well as x2 as well. So this is a first order differential equation which is dependent on x1 as well as x2, and this x2 is also the change in x2, the rate of change in x2 is also dependent on x1 and x2. So when we are encountered with such a system of linear differential equations, how are we going to solve this? In order to be able to solve this as a prerequisite, you are expected to know some matrix, you must have some knowledge of matrices and determinants and about the eigen values problem. If your knowledge is rusty, I would like to review some of the material, so you don't need to pay, don't need to worry. So the eigenvalue problem and the eigen vectors. What are eigenvalues and eigenvectors? I hope it is fairly simple, and we will revise that wherever it is required. So when we have a system of linear differential equations, then we can write them in matrix form, just like we can write simultaneous equations in algebra in matrix form. So here we can write it as determinant of a column vector x1, x2 to be equal to a determinant 2 by 2 determinant formed by the coefficients of x1 and x2 and a vector x1 and x2. So we can represent this determinant of a vector or matrix by, say, x, capital X with a dot on it. So the dependent variable here is t. Based on this notation that we are using, time is the dependent variable and x1 and x2 are the two functions that we are interested in. So x is a vector now, and the derivative of x is equal to, let us call this vector A and this vector x. So this is basically the differential equation in vector form that we need to solve. The point is, by solution we mean we need to find what this x vector is. X vector obviously is a vector matrix, or 2 by 1 matrix. This is a 2 by 1 column matrix, this is a 2 by 2 square matrix, and this is also a 2 by 1 column matrix. So the column matrices are also called as vectors. So from this matrix representation of a differential equation, the point is we know what A is, and we need to find what value, what expression, or what this vector would be that satisfies this equation. So, like always, we need to try with the solution. Here, the solution would be in the matrix form or vector form. So, let us say this vector x, which obviously is composed of functions that are function of time. So, this is still a vector, and let us say this is equal to not in the vector form. Let us say this is equal to some vector v. V the vector it means it's a 2 by 1 matrix, is a vector e raised to the power lambda t. The important thing is to note that v is a vector, that is a matrix, a column matrix, and lambda is a value or a scalar or a scalar value. So lambda is a value, v is a vector, and because of this vector, basically this is also a vector. E raised power lambda t just gets multiplied by the two elements of this vector v. So let us try this to be our solution. If this is so, if this is a solution of this differential equation, then it must satisfy this. So if we take the derivative of this thing, so v is not dependent on, v is a vector with constant elements, not functions of time. Lambda is a scalar, is not a function of time. So therefore, the derivative of this whole thing would be lambda, the vector v, e raised to power lambda t, and that would be equal to a v e raised to the power lambda t. If we revise a few things, while you would be knowing the simple things, how two vectors are added or subtracted together element wise, you also would remember how two vectors are multiplied together. You can revise this, but what I wish you to remember right now is that the multiplication of two matrices is not commutative, So A on the left hand side and B on the right hand side, and B on the left hand side and A on the right hand side may not be the same thing, and may not even be possible. So equality here is a special case. So sometimes AB is equal to BA, but that is a very special case. For example, if you remember, then with the identity matrix, this is possible. Let me just remind you that about that as well. So if we have a vector A and a vector A inverse such that their product gives us the identity matrix, where for a 2 by 2 matrix, the identity matrix is just a matrix with diagonal elements being 1. So if you multiply any matrix by an identity matrix, you get the same matrix. And this does not matter whether the A and A inverse are multiplied by in this way or A inverse is here, because in both cases it will result in the identity matrix, which is in fact that special case. So this is known as the inverse of matrix A, and an inverse may not always exist. A inverse may not always exist. The inverse does not exist. You have studied all this in your courses, even in the A levels and FSC. A inverse does not exist if the determinant of the matrix A is 0. Or in other way, A inverse exists only if the determinant of A is not equal to 0. So these are few things that you should know. So let us come back here. So here, when we are dealing with such a system of equations, we can fairly easily see, let us write it in this way, that A and V is equal to lambda V. Now this is important that we introduce a identity matrix in here, IV. So identity matrix into V is still going to be is still going to be V. And we know that the order of this matrix A is 2 by 2 and this is 2 by 1. So this identity matrix is assumed to be a 2 by 2 identity matrix. Identity matrices are only for square matrices. They have diagonal elements to be 1 and this other diagonal to be 0. And if this is the case, then we can write this as a V minus lambda, which is a scalar I, which is a 2 by 2 identity matrix. V is equal to 0. And we can write this as A minus lambda I, and this V taken on this side, not on this side, to be equal to 0. This is the equation that we need to solve in order to find the value of lambda as well as V. But the point here is that if this matrix has an inverse and we multiply with that inverse here, the inverse of this whole thing, this would be a matrix. If the inverse of this thing is being multiplied on the left hand side, that is here, and as well as here, remember this 0 is not a scalar 0, it is a matrix that has all elements, 0. In fact, it's a vector. Why? This is because this is going to be a 2 by 2 matrix and this is a 2 by 1 matrix. When we multiply both of them, we are going to get a 2 by 1 vector. So this is a 2 by 1 vector. That's very important to know. So if for this 2 by 2 matrix we have an inverse and we multiply it here and we multiply it here as well, we are going to get a 0 here, and for this whole thing to become 0, this V must be 0, and V being 0 is a trivial solution that we are not interested in. If V is 0, then everything is 0 and it obviously is going to satisfy the original equation, but it does not tell us about anything about x1 and x2. So V equal to 0 is not what we are after, and it is a trivial solution. We are not interested in that. So we want to have this matrix to be such a matrix whose inverse does not exist. So there is no inverse that can be multiplied here and here, and that makes V equal to 0. So how would this matrix not have an inverse? So therefore the determinant of A minus lambda I should be equal to 0 if we don't want this V to be 0. So this is the characteristic equation that can be solved solving this characteristic equation gives values of lambda, and I did not emphasize that this equation is what is known as the eigenvalue problem. What is the eigenvalue problem? The eigenvalue problem is a problem, well-defined problem in mathematics, in matrices domain, and that says knowing A, what will be a scalar lambda and a vector V such that this is possible. So we know what is A, find lambda, a scalar, and V, a vector, to satisfy this. So satisfy this what? Here V is being multiplied by a vector, by a matrix. Here V is being multiplied by a scalar. So matrix multiplied by a vector gets us the same thing as a scalar multiplying a vector. So these are very special values and vectors known as eigenvalues and eigenvectors. So lambda are known as eigenvalue or values, and such V's are known as eigenvectors. There may be one vector or there may be multiple vectors. Similarly, there may be one value or multiple values. So let us continue with this to see how this will advance. So let us say A is in fact it is already a 2 by 2 matrix A, B, C, D, and I is for a 2 by 2 matrix is this one, and lambda is a scalar. So what do we have here? A would be A, B, C, D minus lambda, or I means lambda will be multiplied with the ones in the diagonal, and you know how addition and subtraction is performed. The diagonal elements are going to be A minus lambda and D minus lambda, and we are going to get B here and C here. So this is the case, and finding the determinant of this whole thing or the determinant of this matrix, what we are going to have A minus lambda into D minus lambda minus BC. And what this is? This would be, so determinant of A minus lambda I would be lambda square and minus lambda, minus D lambda and minus A lambda, which is minus A plus D lambda and AD, and AD and minus BC. AD are the diagonal elements of the vector A. This has a name. When you sum A and D, the diagonal elements of a matrix, when you sum that, it has a name. It is called the trace of a matrix. So this is the trace of matrix A into lambda, and what is this? AD minus BC. It has a name as well, plus determinant of matrix A. So determinant of matrix A minus lambda I is equal to this thing. When you are going to have this is a quadratic equation, in lambda, which implies that lambda is going to have two values, lambda 1 and lambda 2. And once again, based on the nature of lambda 1 and lambda 2, we are going to have three cases. Here, either we are going to have real and distinct eigenvalues, lambda 1, lambda 2, or we are going to have complex conjugates, eigenvalues, or we are going to have real and equal eigenvalues. So we can find about each case when solving an example. So you see, a set of or a system of linear first order differential equations can be written as in the matrix form by this equation: x dot is equal to ax, where this matrix A contains the coefficients of the two variables x1 and x2. So from here we try a solution in such a way that this vector v is to be found and this lambda is to be found as well. However, in this solution we found that lambda indeed is going to have two values. This means, this also implies that we are going to have a vector v1 for lambda 1 and then another vector for lambda 2. So for each eigenvalue there will be an eigenvector, and we are going to therefore have two eigenvalues and two eigenvectors. Let us now use superposition and include each of the eigenvalue and eigenvector in the general solution. How? Let us, we will say that xt is equal to, say, some constant c1, which is a scalar, eigen vector v1 e raised to the power lambda 1 t plus c2 vector v2 e raised to the power lambda 2 t. That will be the solution that we require. xt is a vector here, c1 is a scalar, v1 is a vector. This is a scalar term. This is a scalar term, a vector, and this is a scalar term. Lambda is a scalar term. So lambda 1 and lambda 2. So the sum overall is going to be a vector. If you okay, I will do that in the next video. That this can be written as x1 and x2 separately. When we write for x1, we are going to take the top element of v1 and top element of v2, and when we write for x2, we are going to take the bottom element of v1 and the bottom element of v2. So we are going to get two equations. And now a question from you: how are we going to find the value of this c1 and c2? We have found lambda 1, lambda 2, v1, v2. How about c1 and c2? Right. With these differential equations, we are going to have two initial conditions, one for this one and one for this one. In fact, there may be more than two initial conditions, but no, there will be one initial condition, two initial conditions with these two first order linear ordinary differential equations, and putting this putting those initial conditions in this, we are going to get C1 and C2. So this is all about solving a system of first order linear differential equations. And now we are going to look at a couple of examples to at least cover the first two cases, and we may look at the third case later on, or we may skip it. Not because it's difficult or anything, but just because the first two cases are typically solved in this fashion.